Hi, I'm Cece family.
Welcome anyone else tuning in.
Hi, friends.
Hey kids! Lisa, what did we bring down with us?
We brought down chocolates
Chocolate.
and marshmallows
And marshmallows.
and graham crackers.
And graham crackers. For what? Why did we bring those down?
S'mores.
To make s'mores? And how do you make a s'more?
So you
Take your graham crackers, right?
Yes.
And what do you put on your graham cracker?
So chocolate.
You put a little piece of chocolate, and then what do you do?
And then you roast your marshmallow.
You can't just put your marshmallow on your chocolate and your graham crackers?
You have to roast it with a roasting stick, and then you slide it onto your s'more.
Right. And so we have to roast our marshmallow. We have to cook it. And that makes it nice and warm, and it helps the chocolate melt and makes the s'mores super yummy. And so it takes time and it takes patience to make a really good s'more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Do you know somebody in the Bible had to be patient?
Yeah.
Yeah? Actually, there were lots of people. We're gonna talk about King David today. King David had to be patient. Do you know what he had to be patient for?
No.
He had to be patient until he was to become
King.
Right. So when King David wasn't King David yet, and he was just Shepherd David, Samuel came to his house, and he was looking for the next king of Israel, because Saul was king, but Saul wasn't doing a very good job, and God had said that he was going to pick somebody else. And so he went to David's father's house. David's father's name was Jesse, and he brought out all of his sons, and Samuel said, "Nope, it's not any of these. Do you have any more sons?" And he said, "Just one more, the youngest, and he's out in the field with the sheep." So they brought David, and Samuel told David that he was going to be the next king. But he didn't become king right away. That's kind of tough, huh? Knowing that you're going to be the next king, but that you have to wait.
Mm-hmm.
And so while he was waiting, do you think he was a good son? You don't think so?
Yes.
He was. He kept going to the field every day and taking care of the sheep. And one time, his dad, Jesse, came to David and said, this is from 1 Samuel chapter 17, beginning with verse 17, it says, "Now Jesse said to his son David, 'Take this ephah of roasted grain. Take these graham crackers.'" Bible doesn't say graham crackers, but we'll make it graham crackers. "Take these graham crackers and these 10 loaves of bread to your brothers, and hurry to their camp. Take along these 10 cheeses to their commander, to the commander of their unit, and see how your brothers are doing, and bring back some assurance from them. They are with Saul and all the men of Israel in the valley of Elah, fighting against the Philistines." Well, do you know who was fighting for the Philistines? A really big guy, and his name was
Goliath!
Goliath. Right. This is the beginning to the story of David and Goliath. And so Jesse asked David to take some food to his brothers who were in the army. And David was going to become king. Do you think he could have said, "No, Dad, I'm going to be the king. I don't need to do that"? He could have. Could he have just tried to sleep in and not gotten up early and not accomplished his task?
Yeah.
Or he could have just walked really slow and been super depressed that he had to do extra chores. He could have, but who would he not have met had he done any of those things? He would not have met.
Goliath.
He wouldn't have met Goliath.
Was Goliath actually trying to hurt the sheep or what?
No, he was going to fight the army of Israel. And every day for 40 days he came out and said that God wasn't a real God, and he said mean things about the army, the Israelite army. And so on that 40th day, David got up early in the morning, left the flock with a shepherd, loaded up all the food that his dad gave him, and set out, just as Jesse directed. And he reached the camp as the army was going out to its battle positions, shouting the war cry. And earlier it tells us that they did that in the morning. So he hurried. He got up early and he hurried to go see his brothers and bring them all the food that his dad had given him. And if he hadn't done that, he wouldn't have heard Goliath yelling, and we wouldn't have the most famous story in the Bible. I think David and Goliath is probably the most famous story that we have in the whole Bible. Can you believe that? And all because he listened to his dad, He hurried to get his task done, and he was obedient. Sometimes God uses seemingly small tasks, right? Taking food to your brother's not a big deal. Is that really a big deal?
Yeah.
It was for God, right? But sometimes us doing small things, our obedience in the small things, is how God gives us our greatest opportunities. And so we have to be cognizant of how we treat each other, how we talk to each other, how we behave, and what we do. Because sometimes even the small things are what God uses to help us get to our greatest triumph. Because what happened at the end of David and Goliath? What happened at the end of David and Goliath? Did David win? And what happened to Goliath?
Mama!
Yeah, Goliath fell. And it was because of David's obedience in just bringing food to his brothers so that they could have a s'more or a sandwich. Isn't that a sandwich? Yeah, maybe it was just a cheese sandwich.
A sandwich s'more.
Can you imagine that? David and Goliath almost didn't happen over a cheese sandwich.
A cheese sandwich.
So we've been talking about listening and following directions and treating people nicely. And all of those things are things that David did. And because he did that, he was able to slay Goliath. Will you pray with me?
Yep.
Dear God,
Dear God,
help me
help me
to listen to you,
to listen to you,
to listen to people in charge,
listen to people in the house,
to be obedient,
be obedient,
to hurry, and to do your will.
and to do your will.
Thank you
Thank you
for the opportunity
for the opportunity
to serve you
to serve you
and to find victory
and to find victory
for your glory,
for your glory,
your might,
your
majesty,
majesty,
and your kingdom.
and your kingdom.
Help me
Help me
to love you,
to love you,
to serve you,
to serve you,
and to be your
and to be
your servant
your servant
on earth
on earth
and in heaven
and in heaven
forever and ever.
forever and ever.
And all God's children said,
Amen.
Amen. And when all God's children prayed together, the devil said,
Pew.
Bummer. Bye.
Bye.